Why trade between Nepal and Britain is not going as it is supposed to be?
Last year, in the first 11 months of 2011, we imported £12 million worth of goods from Nepal and exported about £9 million of goods to Nepal.
What are the major investment obstacles in Nepal?
They need stability, they need security, to have the confidence to come in to a country which is greatly loved by UK people, is well known by UK people.
A critical analysis of trade and investment in Nepal made by His Excellency British Ambassador to Nepal. Coming Tuesday at 9:30 PM on Business Center. Nepal established diplomatic relations with Britain in 1816. In 1934, Nepal established a legation in London, and the two countries exchanged minister plenipotentiary and envoys extraordinary, which was promoted to level of ambassador in 1947. Two great countries with great history, but when it comes to bilateral trade and investment, we don't have figures like our history, and still we are struggling.
Well, trade and investment is very important to both our countries. The UK government has what we call a prosperity agenda, and that means working together with nations throughout the world to improve the trade and investment portfolio of the two countries we're working with. And it's not about prosperity only for the UK. This is about prosperity also for the country such as Nepal, in which we work in. On the investment side, the UK is one of the largest investors in Nepal. We have a number of very large multinational companies here, represented and working here in Nepal, have been here for some years. Companies such as Standard Chartered, GlaxoSmithKline, Unilever. And so, the investment is there. We would like to see it grow. I think on the trade side, the figures are not impressive. Last year, in the first 11 months of 2011, trade between our two countries was quite small. We imported £12 million worth of goods from Nepal and exported about £9 million of goods to Nepal. So the numbers are very small. But we would like to see that increase. And how we're going to do that is to try and build on the very successful visit by the Britain-Nepal Chamber of Commerce in October last year, which was the first chamber visit dedicated to Nepal for over 10 years. And there were some encouraging things that came out of that. A number of companies are actively following up some leads, especially in tea production and in tourism, but also in education, which is one of the strengths that we have in the UK. We are ready. I think our companies are ready to trade, but they are. There are still issues here that need to be challenged and solutions found for British companies to really feel confident about trading here in Nepal. The British market is an open one. I know that Nepali goods are very welcome in the UK. Some of them are sold in the most prestigious stores in London. And I think that there really does need to be work. We need to do some more work. We need to work with the British Chamber. We need to work with the Nepal-Britain Chamber of Commerce and Industry and to increase the trade between our two countries. And I certainly look forward during my remaining time here in Nepal to doing that.
British fellowship to Nepal began since 1950 and a financial assistance since 1961. Although in 2009, Britain stood as the 5th largest destination for Nepal's export and 7th largest in imports. However, the relation is within top 10 levels as of now. But the figures are truly not satisfactory to both of the countries. Regarding trade, we need to have our own strategy and a marketing plan to penetrate and establish us in a British market.
On the trade side, I think there's a real need, I think, for the government of Nepal to develop a strategy. How is it going to help small and medium enterprise companies here in Nepal to develop their own potential? And as I just mentioned, Nepali goods such as pashmina, rugs, are of a very high quality. But they're not, at the moment, competitive to similar products being produced in the region and by other countries throughout the world. And I think there needs to be a concerted effort by government to come up with a strategy, to work with these companies to make them more competitive. And we are talking about working and exporting to a global marketplace. And I think that there is a real need also for companies here to develop a marketing strategy. They don't market themselves. Nepal does not market itself particularly well. And I think there is a need for an extra investment in this particular area, which will pay dividends in the longer term.
The balance of trade between two countries has been negative and positive till now, and no country in the world will have benefits out of such volatile trade situation. This is again due to lack of British FDI in Nepal. In paper, we can find lots of statistics related with the British investment, but in reality they do not exist in practice. They are just paper investment and do not have significant impact on our production. Government of Nepal needs to focus on its commitments as expressed in a various international level. Simultaneously, focus on peace, stability and security are considered to be major prerequisites for additional British foreign direct investment.
On the investment front, it's quite clear to me, and from speaking to companies, UK companies who have looked at Nepal as a possible investment destination, that what is really needed here is a successful conclusion to the peace process. They need stability, they need security, to have the confidence to come in to a country which is greatly loved by UK people, is well known by UK people. And without that political stability, without sustainable political stability, people are going to be there are other places. Again, we're working in a global marketplace, and there are many other destinations for UK and other foreign direct investment. Equally, those conditions will help Nepali investors, Nepali companies to invest more in this country. And I really do think that one of the key issues is for the government to have a look at the regulatory issues and laws here at the moment governing investment, and look at what is done elsewhere, what is done in India, for example, which has been one of the real success stories for investment, inward investment over the last 10 years. Look at Vietnam, a country which too went through a conflict, but is now emerging as one of South Asia's, one of Asia's largest economies. So there are lessons to be learnt from within the region about how to make that investment climate. We very much welcome the establishment of the Nepal Investment Board. We very much welcome the announcement of the Year of Investment for Nepal. What we'd like to do also is to see the government look at some of the information that's out there from the World Bank. How do countries make themselves a destination for inward investment? How can they pick up the best practice? And that, I think, is going to be very important. We want to work with the government of Nepal.
Coming to trade challenges, tariffs are no longer issues for countries like Nepal. From WTO to various other platforms, we have been enjoying LDC facilities. But the tragedy is we have not been able to utilize our technical assistance program to enhance our trade-related capacity. There is a money in package for us, but we are not able to retrieve the same.
We will certainly be willing to work with the government of Nepal and indeed the Nepal Investment Board and with private companies to enhance the trade performance of Nepal. As I said, we very much look forward to working with Mr. Balash Pant over the coming months as he works through the year of investment. And we stand ready to give technical assistance if we are requested to do so. At the moment, we haven't had any requests, but we will do so if we will look at and consider very carefully any request that is made.
Non-tariff barriers are the major challenges for Nepalese export, and in order to meet this, we need mutual collaboration and a funding support as well from the developed nations.
As you said, there are no tariff barriers as such to Nepali goods going into the EU. But the EU does impose certain sanitary and phytosanitary regulations on imports. Unfortunately, in a lot of cases, Nepali produce does not meet those. So what the European Commission is doing is working with the relevant agencies and bodies here within government to enhance their capability of testing produce that is destined for the EU to allow that produce to go there without any hindrance. And the European Commission is also working very closely with the producers, with the people, to actually educate them and bring that to fruition to allow that produce to go into those products to go into the European Union. So there is action underway. We very much hope that action will enhance the prospects of Nepali products entering the EU.
Besides trade and investment, our huge problem is poverty. DFID has been operating in Nepal since 1999. They are doing their best. But what about us? Is our homework enough to capitalize the such support?
Well, DFID's operational plan for the period 2010 to 2015, announced last year by Alan Duncan, the Minister of State for International Development, when he visited Nepal last spring. The DFID's program will double in value over the next 4 years. In total, DFID are committing £331 million to Nepal. And a lot of that is aimed at reducing poverty. Just to give you some figures, we are hoping to create 230,000 jobs in the forestry sector alone through work in that sector. We are hoping to lift 570,000 people out of poverty through our programs, through the DFID programs. We are looking to provide safe sanitation for 110,000 people. We're looking to avert over 108,000 unwanted unwanted pregnancies. So DFID is working extremely hard to alleviate poverty in this country. That is what it's here for. That is what we're doing. We're working very hard with government. We're working very hard with NGOs. We're working very hard with communities. And we are addressing the needs that they tell us that they have in a practical way, which really does help bring people out of poverty and sets them on a better road for the rest of their lives.
Tourism, education, British Gurkhas and welfare are other major issues which need to be discussed in future. and Business Center will definitely raise the issues in future. But in this investment year 2012-13, let's hope both countries will have congenial atmosphere for business and investment.